We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order. Clerk will read the roll.
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Here.
Freeman.
Here.
Busco.
Here.
Hamer.
Aye.
Lombardo. McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Here.
Homobian.
Here.
Samples.
Here.
Somerville.
Aye.
Swirsky. All members are present except for Lombardo and Swirsky.
At this time, we will be led in prayer by Minister Marissa Saunders from the House of the Lord. Immediately following our prayer, I'm going to ask if Councilman McKittrick would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Madam President, and hello to everyone this evening. Let's go ahead and bow our heads in a word of prayer. Dear Lord, we come to you right now, just thankful for another day. I'm thankful, Lord God, to be on another call with your public servants who have given their time, talents, and energy to better our city. And I pray for them tonight that you would give them the assurance of your grace, the assurance of your love. And I pray that you'll give them the wisdom and discernment that they need to lead our city, Father. It's in the name of Jesus that I ask, oh God, that you will provide protection and wisdom, Father, as they plan and execute things. And Lord, if there's a need for funds or for volunteers or whatever they may discuss tonight, I pray that you would provide it, Lord. I'm asking that you would provide exactly what they need professionally, Lord, and also what they need outside of City Council. We lift up our city, we lift up the citizens, and we just ask that you will all just help us to be the best we can to bring your name glory, honor, and praise. We thank you for this time. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Minister Saunders.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
allegiance
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The minutes from our previously held meeting have been provided. Are there any additions or corrections? Councilman Fusco?
Motion to approve.
Can we get a second? Councilman Malik?
Second.
Roll call?
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Busco.
Aye.
Hamer.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Homobian.
Aye.
Samples.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
The minutes pass 11-0.
Before you, you have the consent agenda. Motion to approve. Councilman Fusco?
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. Can we get a second? Councilwoman Samples?
Second.
Roll call?
Baylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Busco.
Aye.
Hamer.
Aye.
McKittrick.
Aye.
Malik.
Aye.
Neal.
Aye.
Homobian.
Aye.
Samples.
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
The consent agenda passes 11-0.
We do have two public hearings scheduled for this evening. Clerk will read in item number 1.
Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, April 5th, 2021, during the council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance amending the building line map as referred to in section 153.320 of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Akron, 2004, to change the established building line on parcel number 7002865, lot 33 of the Heron Crest allotment from 130 feet to 25 feet.
Thank you. Mr. Antonucci?
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of council. The developer of Heron Crest allotment, Stanek Properties, has petitioned the city to investigate amending the building line map. The change would occur on lot 33 of the allotment, adjusting the building line from the current setback of 130 feet to 25 feet. The established building line on both adjacent lots to the north and south, as well as across the street, is presently 25 feet. Because of the location of the northern pond and sloping topography of the front of lot 33, a building line of 130 feet was established on just that lot to ensure that any future construction would take place on the flatter northeastern portion. Improvements were made to the southern pond to adequately meet the stormwater needs of the development. The requested change would allow development of lot 33 to proceed in a manner consistent with the other lots in the development, and the Office of Integrated Development, Planning Staff, and Planning Commission recommend approval subject to the condition. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Antonucci. I do believe we have Mr. Bill Landis online with us who wants to speak in favor of this ordinance.
That's correct, Chair. I wish to speak in favor of it.
Okay, perfect. Before you do, I'm just going to ask that you be sworn in by a member of our law department first.
You could raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're going to give is the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
I do.
Mr. Landis?
Yes. So I do wish to speak in favor of this. We do have a contract on this lot, but it is contingent upon moving the setback to 25 feet, which, as Mr. Antonucci mentioned, is consistent with every other lot in the development. All improvements were made subject to the Army Corps of Engineers and to the Ohio EPA.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Landis, do you have anyone else online with us that would also like to speak in favor?
I'm not aware of any.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. So we will close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules.
Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. Samples,
Aye.
Baylor,
Aye.
and Kamer.
Aye.
Yes, thank you. The report of the committee is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Okay, the rules have been suspended. Any further comments?
Yes, thank you. Just that, as reported by the Mr. Antonucci, this is an allotment adjustment, if you will. And so after review by the committee, we recommend approval this evening.
Thank you so much, Councilman Fusco. I do see Councilman Malik's hand.
Thank you, Madam President. Just briefly, I know earlier we discussed this afternoon. I received an email earlier in the afternoon and was hoping that perhaps Mr. Landis could share with council some of the documentation that was submitted to the Army Corps of Engineers and Ohio EPA regarding the stormwater adjustments that were made and their responses, just so we have that in our record, since we are, making changes that are relevant to that.
Yes, those documents were included in our submission to the city. I believe Mr. Antonucci should have copies of all of that, but I'd be happy to supply the council directly or wherever you wish that email to be directed to.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Fusco? Okay.
The report of the committee is favorable.
All right, very good. The committee's report is favorable. The rules have been suspended. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Fusco,
Aye.
Hamer,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 11-0. Notice is hereby given that the following public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, April 5th, 2021, during the council meeting at 7 p.m. Ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a parking lot at 376 North Arlington Street.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. TCM Enterprise Management LLC is requesting permission to expand the parking area for their used car sales business, CMB Auto Sales. The proposed asphalt paved parking area will be sited in the northwest portion of the property. The existing curb cut at the northwest corner of the property along Lorraine Street would be utilized for ingress egress to the 15-space angled parking area. An 8 feet in depth buffered landscape area along Lorraine Avenue would extend from the curb cut to the northwest corner of the building. A landscape buffer would also be sited north of the existing North Arlington Street curb cut. A solid wooden fence exists along the western property line. One objective of the Land Use and Development Guide Plan is to promote good design standards for parking areas. Currently, vehicles for sale are being parked in front of the building and along the Lorraine Street side of the building, with customers having to park in the street. Moving the parking of vehicles to the rear of the building will eliminate overcrowding and greatly improve the aesthetics and circulation of the property. Planning staff recognizes that even though the property to the west of the building is residentially zoned, the likelihood of new residential construction on this lot is remote. If properly developed, the business can be an asset to this Middlebury neighborhood. Office of Integrated Development, Planning Staff, and Planning Commission recommend approval subject to the conditions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Antonucci. Do we have Tammy Gibson online with us to speak in favor? Tammy Gibson, are you online? I think she is here. 1 second. Tammy, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. Before you bring forth your remarks, I'm just going to ask that you be sworn in by a member of our law department.
Okay.
If you could raise your right hand. You swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Thank you. Ms. Gibson, you can proceed.
Okay, I'm here this evening just to get permission to be able to extend parking on our extra lot next to our current property. So our customers will be able to have somewhere to park instead of having to park on the street.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilman Busco?
Yes, thank you. I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. Samples,
Aye.
Mailer,
Aye.
Hamer.
Aye.
Yes, thank you. The report of the committee is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Okay, the rules have been suspended. I do see Councilwoman Connor's hand, Councilman Busco.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I yield any comments to Representative Connor.
I just wanted to welcome Ms. Gibson. As you know, some of those streets are fairly narrow, so anytime we can free them up for clear passage, it's a great thing. We look forward to the new business, and thank you to her and Mr. Antonucci for keeping me appraised of the endeavor. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. The committee's report is favorable. The rules have been suspended. Roll call.
Baylor,
Aye.
Connor,
Aye.
Freeman,
Aye.
Busco,
Aye.
Hamer,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
This ordinance passes 11-0.
We'll now move into our old business, planning and economic development. Councilman Busco.
Yes, thank you, President Somerville. The requesting time on 3, we have a public hearing on that particular item, 12. We also request that we file items 4 and 5. The explanation quite simply is those have been withdrawn by the petitioner, 4 and 5. Time on 6 and 7. Those two are the items that we had just voted on. Those were the petitions requesting the public hearings. And then time on the balance of the agenda. Thank you.
Thank you. Time will be granted. That completes our old business for this evening. We'll now move into new legislation.
Item number 1, offered by Samples. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into an agreement or agreements and/or legislation with the Ohio Director of Transportation for certain improvements on SR 93 and SR 162 and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Samples.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee is requesting consent agenda.
This item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Item number 2, offered by Mayor Horgan. Ordinance amending and/or supplementing Title 15 Land Usage, Chapter 150 Environmental Health Housing Code to add sections 150.51 and 150.52 to create legal defenses in an eviction matter for tenants who attempt to tender all past due rental payments to a landlord and capping the amount of reasonable late fees that a landlord may impose on a tenant and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer.
This item will be referred.
Item number 3, offered by Mayor Horgan. Ordinance amending and/or supplementing Title 3, Chapter 38, Unlawful Discrimination, Section 38.01, Definitions of the Code of Ordinances of the City of Akron to prohibit discrimination on the basis of lawful source of income and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Fusco.
Refer.
This item will also be referred.
Item number 4, offered by Mayor Horgan. Resolution declaring the month of April 2021 Minority Health Month in the City of Akron in order to raise awareness about health disparities that continue to affect racial and ethnic minority populations and encouraging action through health education, early detection, and control of disease complications and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Amobian.
Yes, this afternoon we had a very good discussion. We had Manager Shalita Smith from the Summit County Health Department. I'm not sure, Tamika Rose, if she's present and if Shalita is on the line.
Shalita is not on the line.
How about Tamika? Tamika, would you like to make comments? Oh, is that Shalita or Tamika?
This is Tamika, Councilman.
Oh, Tamika.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Mrs. Rose, would you like to make comments about this resolution?
So this resolution was brought to us through Summit County Public Health to recognize Minority Health Month as the month of April. There are a couple of different activities going on throughout this month. The link will be posted on our website. The link is currently up on Summit County Public Health's website. There are events around healthy eating, healthy cooking. There's HIV testing and education events. And during the committee meeting today, Councilman Amobian wanted to reach out to interim executive director of the ADAM board to focus on mental health as well. But there are currently a lot of events. One main thing I can say is the Gus Johnson Foundation at the United Baptist Church is having events every Wednesday night. So if someone wants to engage in any minority health event, they can go to the Gus Johnson Foundation on Wednesdays. And all of those events are on the Summit County Public Health's website. And we will have a link on the city's website as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I did reach out to interim executive director Amy Wade and left her a message on her line because she was in another meeting, asking her to get in contact with Shalita Smith, or Shalita Smith will reach out to her. There are a number of organizations in town and they are minority providers, and they will be hopefully providing some educational material or workshops to make citizens aware of the resources that are available in Summit County. So I don't think anyone else is on the line if that's the case. They asked us to pass this on an emergency basis, so we voted to pass this ordinance with suspension of the rules tonight.
Thank you. Any objections on suspension of the rules? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. Roll call.
Taylor.
Aye.
Connor.
Aye.
Freeman.
Aye.
Fusco.
Aye.
Hamer,
Aye.
McKittrick,
Aye.
Malik,
Aye.
Neal,
Aye.
Amobian,
Aye.
Samples,
Aye.
Somerville.
Aye.
This resolution passes 11-0.
And I'm sorry, Councilman Neal, I didn't see your hand.
Thank you, Madam President. Just wanted to speak in regards, not just to this resolution, but to the one that we passed where we declared racism a public health crisis. This is Minority Health Month. I think it's critical because we all know that we've stated that gun violence is a public health crisis. We had healthy discussion this evening about housing, and we know that stems from some of the creates health issues as well. So it's my hope that with us declaring this Minority Health Month, which is April always is, as well as it's Financial Literacy Month, two critical things. With us declaring racism a public health crisis and the county a public health crisis, if it's sometime before this month is out, we could talk to see what is our strategy? What is our strategy to address these issues? It has to be comprehensive. I'd love to share some of the information that this body has made possible for me to learn. I know Councilwoman Amobian, I know Councilwoman Samples has been exposed to some, but this is critical that we have a plan. I mean, I think we're almost at 20 murders so far this year, and we haven't had a discussion. This is not an indictment. This goes back to when I said, because we've got to look at our process and our structure and how we come to address issues as a council. I think there's some systemic things that are in the way we've done business that have crippled us from being more proactive. But this is serious. And I got a call today, and it was also on NPR about the trauma that our people in our community are suffering from because of the gun violence. So it's just my hope that, with us declaring it, the county declaring it, that we talk about how we're going to use our resources to address this. And it's not just the resources that are coming from the American Rescue Plan dollars, because I want to share with council. My concern is all those dollars are coming to deal with the effects, not the cause. The effects of the structural and institutional problems that we have are gun violence, are health disparities, are housing disparities. We've got to truly address this. This is more serious than the police issue, because the police issue deals with some of the outcomes of this. So it's just my hope that before we get through this month, we plan to meet with our colleagues on council, as well as ourselves. We've got these different committees. We need to have a strategic plan to address this, because as we all know, summer is coming and it's going to get hot. And I'm not talking about the weather.
Thank you,
Madam Chair.
Councilman Neal. That concludes our new legislation. We'll now move to the portion of our meeting that we refer to as our public comment period, and our clerk will play messages received.
My name is Michael, and I'm watching a video that was filmed very recently with a firefighter from the Akron Fire Department, Engine 6, spray somebody in the public who was on the sidewalk. It looks like he sprayed him simply because he was a journalist. It didn't appear that the journalist was doing anything aggressive or untoward or anything to disturb whatever it is that the the firefighters seemed to be doing. They were spraying down a sidewalk, it looked like, or a driveway of something for whatever reason. But to have a bystander there and they spray them down, even if the bystander, the person who was filming, the journalist, even if that journalist was misbehaving, spraying him with the fire hose is not how that's dealt with. But like I said, it didn't appear that there was any misconduct at all on behalf of the journalist. So I guess that I'm wondering what can be done, and how further training can be adopted into your department's policy about journalists and about people filming in public. Even if this guy is not a journalist and he's just a bystander with a cell phone, it makes no difference. We have the right to film in public. We have the right to film public employees doing their work. We have the right to film and video anything that we can see with our eyes, as long as we are in a public area. And I didn't see any harm at all. I'm really appalled that the sense of entitlement that firefighter had to feel that he could spray somebody down, and the others that are around. It appears that there's 2 other firefighters there. If one of them was a supervisor or a truck captain or something like that, should have dealt with that immediately, including in a very aggressive apology to the bystander, and dealing with that and stopping that firefighter from doing that. So I'm hoping that this action is taken seriously. I'm sure that you can find this on this video on YouTube. And anyway, yeah, disturbing to see. Thank you for hearing me out, and like I said, I hope there's some resolution.
Hello, my name is André from Vermont. I want to say that hosing someone with a water cannon is a criminal act, period. It is assault with a weapon, simple assault with a weapon. Thank you, and I hope you act accordingly and fire that guy. Bye-bye.
Hi, this is Teresa Williams. Calling back, you guys didn't get to hear the rest of my statement. When there was a total that he said it was 15 cops right there on him, Caucasian cops. 3 to 5 of them was stumping him, kicking him, punching him, and there was one that's on a witness statement. It states that one of the Caucasian officers had his knee on my son's throat, the identical way of George Floyd. The witness got the officer off of my son, and he didn't get arrested, the witness. That is because they know they were wrong. My son had the cuts on his face. We're dark-skinned. My son's face is swollen, 2 black eyes, cut, meat gone, skin gone, and his whole entire face was the color of green, red, and blue. And that means bruising. And when I called the Summit County Jail to check on him, they said he had a lump in his back. And that was told to me by a sheriff. So my main thing is we want the video cameras. We want the dash cam and the body cams. Because, again, they were on until the cop told them that was beating my son, man, your body cams. So we have to get this together. And when I say we, I mean all of us. I would like for you guys to see the body cam and dash cams, and I would like to see the body cams and dash cams. I would appreciate that deeply. This is not right, and it got to stop. It must stop. Thank you. There was one more thing. I think I did say it when you guys listened yesterday when they had him alone and said they should have shot him. Let's all look at the dash cams and body cams together. How about that? Thank you.
Hi, you're a firefighter that sprayed a citizen. I don't want the guy to get fired or anything like that, but that's ridiculous. That citizen pays his salary, and for him to have that little bit of respect for citizens is outrageous. He should be fired, but unless he changes his attitude, I think y'all should make sure that that happens. Thanks, bye.
John Wesley Sharp, attorney and counselor at law, 730 Chalice Drive, Suite 1201, Akron, Ohio, 44311, 330-773-4586. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Lord, my strength and my redeemer. Chosen people, brothers and sisters, we are God's chosen people. We are the most systematically oppressed people in the new world. Oppressed in politics with the rolling back of our voting rights. Oppressed in criminal justice. Oppressed in housing. Oppressed in employment. Oppressed in education. Oppressed in banking. Oppressed in healthcare. Oppressed in armed forces. Oppressed in news. Oppressed in entertainment. And oppressed in sports. We are oppressed in every area of modern life. What is your proof, you say? Where are your statistics, you say? Look it up, I say. We are oppressed because of their fear. They are afraid. Fear of our potential for moral authority and leadership. Brothers and sisters, you have the blood of kings and queens running through your veins. Brothers and sisters, you have the blood of kings and queens pulsing through your veins. Brothers and sisters, because of our oppression, pain, and suffering, God will set us on high. And then, he shall make us to lie down in green pastures and lead us beside the still water.
This is Jody Grassgreed, 699 Weber Avenue, Akron. Do you know what a carbon trap is? I didn't. Just like when it first started making headlines, I didn't know what the fracturing process of removing gas from the ground was, now commonly known as fracking. I had to read up on it. Remember, you stopped the administration from fracking at Ladue, who already harvested large trees at the same site. So what is a carbon trap? It's just as important a term to know as fracking. Trees are carbon sponges. Over the course of 25 years, a single maple tree can sequester or remove about 400 pounds of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide in our atmosphere is why we are experiencing climate change. One reason that the Cuyahoga River and the valley are getting 7 inches more in rain than it did in the 1960s. One reason why Akron Peninsula Road is closed, erosion. Tice Woods, while not just tree covered, plays an important role in sucking up carbon dioxide since it has lots of trees and is the size of 33 football fields. That is why so many residents urge the city to choose conservation over development at Tice Woods. Preserving green space is a real way to address climate change by trapping carbon. You just hired a consultant at the price of $100,000. Doug Farr's philosophy is centered on the notion that the world needs to change, and we are the ones to initiate it. Change should start with the end in mind, and that end is carbon neutrality. You need carbon traps to help get to carbon neutrality, among other changes. Farr goes on to ask, how can we get there? By working together, by holding ourselves accountable, by modifying our habits, shifting the industry, and ultimately redefining our conception of beauty to include health, happiness, and equity. You have hired Mr. Farr for $100,000. You have the ability to grow Akron differently and lead us down a better path. Seize the moment while we still have time. Conserve Tice Woods for all the right reasons. Grow in Akron, not out of Akron. For more information, please see the Tice Woods brief sent to you by Preserve the Valley. Thank you for your time.
Hi, my name is Bill McCourt. I live at 800 Hardy Road. I respectfully request the Akron City Council to support the conservation of Tice Woods. Tice Woods is forested. It helps protect the tributary headwaters of the Cuyahoga River and provides habitat for wildlife. Tice Woods would be a wonderful enhancement to Akron's investments in the open green areas of the reclaimed landfill and mountain bike trail. I understand the city of Akron's desire to provide attractive housing developments for its citizens. Developing a natural area in old growth forest and privatizing it to a limited number of homeowners would not be in the best interest of attracting people to live in Akron. It would lose the very natural area that is currently part of the attraction to the mountain biking area in Akron. Development of Tice Woods would congest and degrade what is now part of a green public retreat. Neither Tice Road nor Hardy Road could support the additional traffic that would come with development of Tice Woods. It would turn into a high accident area. Thank you for your consideration of conserving Tice Woods.
Yes, my name is Harrington Hargrove. I live at 1008 Laurel Avenue, Akron, 44307, Ward 3. And my concern has been that the Akron Zoo paid nothing for its water and sewer services right up until 2019. And for 3 years prior to that, the city paid $345,912 a year for that service, a total of $1,037,000. In 2019, Mayor Dan Horrigan insisted they pay 25% of the $345,912 for their water services. Why is it that the animals in the zoo are more important than the Black community? Also, the city of Akron has invested over $100 million in the Opportunity Park and Canal Place, which is in Ward 3. Also, the city of Akron has invested in the Edgewood Homes, which is in Ward 3. Also, the city has invested in the Diagonal Road Housing Project, which is in Ward 3. Also, the city has invested over $1 million in the Dave Walters dealership, which is in Ward 3. James Hardy has stated that the Black community has been excluded from opportunity. The Black community in Ward 3 has been redlined and excluded from economic opportunities. When will this practice end? I'm asking that the city to look into this matter closely. I've been asking the city to invest in Ward 3 for quite a while. So please, council, look into what's going on in this community. And not only Ward 3, but the Black community at large. Where's the equity in how you allocate funding? So what I'm asking from the city, which I always do, is to be fair with the Black community. So please, council, look into that and also give a plan that is going to do something to uplift the Black community instead of always putting us on the back burner. This is my request that you, and I ask council to please look into the matter that I am speaking about. It is very important to the Black community, and I wish that you would. Thank you very much, and everyone have a wonderful day. Bye.
Good evening. This is Nick from Ward 1. First, I find it quite unsavory that not a single council person addressed Ms. Williams' powerful and moving comment about her son last week. When a citizen of Akron comes forward with a story about Akron police brutalizing Black individuals, I would hope this council would show a little more respect and human decency. Do Black lives actually matter to any of you, or do you just say that for clout? Was reimagining public safety nothing more than a PR stunt for the city? Did y'all waste 6 months of our time just to end up not caring about Black Akronites who face racial profiling and racialized police brutality? This is shameful. I'd also like to address Councilman Fusco's comment from last meeting. The fact that Ward 1 has no real representation in city council meetings is anti-democratic, plain and simple. I did not vote for Councilman Fusco. I would not vote for him regardless of if he communicates with Councilman Rich Swirsky. His support for the Ladue fracking bill, which his own campaign contributors would have directly benefited from, is evidence enough that he does not represent my views as a citizen of Akron. Again, it is blatantly obvious that Ward 1 needs actual representation on council during these meetings and votes. Touching on the $153 million the city is slated to get in COVID relief, I again implore you all to not let this money disappear into the general fund. Briefly glimpsing at the breakdown of CARES Act dollars the city received, roughly half of the $22 million in relief aid went to the Akron Police Department, while our neighbors struggled with evictions, utility shutoffs, food insecurity, lack of childcare, and loss of income. Funneling exorbitant amounts of relief aid into the police department does not make us safer, and in fact may have the opposite effect, considering you are foregoing getting meaningful relief to those who need it most. That $10 million could have helped so many people, but instead it was wasted on policing and brutalizing our citizens. Again, Serve the People Akron is asking for dumpsters and regular trash service at all Akron area houseless encampments. We will bag and remove trash, but we desperately need assistance. We are doing the hard work, and all we are asking the city to do is pitch in just a little bit. It is blatantly obvious y'all don't care about the houseless when we can't even get help on bulk trash pickup. And of course, the tax abatement. It is redlining 2.0, plain and simple. Council would do well to immediately rescind it and replace it with a more equitable and fair policy. The city of Cincinnati has the same exact tax abatement and is being sued in a class action lawsuit under the Fair Housing Act. I will have research out in the coming weeks that shows Akron is perpetuating the very same racist redlining and segregation practices. Thanks and have a good night.
Hi, my name is Vibhushan Siddhar Kumar. I'm from Cuyahoga Falls, Ward 8. I'm calling on behalf of Serve the People and the work that we are doing with the community out there. We are volunteers, and we up to help the community out there, and we have been asking for City Council to help us out in picking up the trash that we did and taking it to the proper area, the dumpsters and whatnot, and we have not been getting the proper service and assistance from City Council, and I'd just like to keep bringing that attention up to Posse, get help and find a Posse relationship to make sure that the trash that we're able to pick up as citizens gets picked up through the services of the city. On the second note, I'd also like to continue bringing attention to the issues that were talked about last week. I've heard about the AHAMA issue about the hot water, and then Miss Williams called to police brutality on her son. I hope those issues are being taken with seriousness by City Council, and I hope to keep following up on those issues to make sure that those citizens are finding the needs to their issues. Thank you. Bye.
My name is Ryan Keene. I was born in Akron and I'm a longtime resident of Ward 10. I'm a member of About Face Veterans Against the War and serve the people Akron. I'm looking forward to Councilwoman Samples continuing to follow up on answers for the houseless community. According to the Akron Beacon Journal, CSX notified both the mayor's office and the Akron Police Department on February 10th about the illegal encampment sweep at Grace Park on February 17th. Who was notified in the mayor's office and APD on February 10th? Why wasn't City Council notified? Why wasn't the houseless community surrounding Grace Park notified or the properly posted notifications at Grace Park? Have any council people or anyone from the mayor's office or the Office of Integrated Development visited the numerous encampments throughout Akron to reach out to these citizens and listen to their conditions and lived experiences on why housing programming should not require 21 religious services a week, separate families, separate pets, separate partners, and other outdated archaic protocols? Tax abatements are modern-day redlining. The city of Cincinnati is currently being sued for discriminatory housing practices for the same tax abatement. Magistrate Tao has said that there are over 100 plus evictions per week in Akron, and Akron has the highest eviction rate in Ohio. Rent in 2000 was $483 a month. Rent in 2019 was $816 a month. Rent is up 53% since 2000. Income only up 29%. On March 27th, some of our houseless friends from the tent encampment communities led a community day with breakfast, lunch, and approximately 2 to 3 tons of trash bagged, collected, and piled neatly for the city of Akron bulk pickup with solidarity from Serve the People Akron. Mayor Horgan and all members of City Council have been notified multiple times starting March 27th, and as of this morning, April 5th, there's still no trash services for our houseless friends. Councilwoman Samples said they are working on it this morning. The homeless encampments, currently at least 10 encampment sites and growing, need trash and sanitation services as human beings and citizens of Akron. Why does council completely ignore citizens and concerns on the public comments, such as Miss Williams' horrendous story of police brutality about her son? And all we heard was crickets to the response. What about Mr. Green and all the citizens at the AMH downtown Akron, the Mayflower Manor for low-income, elderly, and disabled folks with no hot water for over a year? What about Mr. Nesbitt asking for a drop box every week for months? Crickets. It's systemic, and that firefighter needs fired immediately.
Hi, I am polyamorous Mariah Treehugger. I can be reached at 206-330-1273. Happy Earth Month. Let's colonize 2021. I'm calling on behalf, well, I'm also a houseless person living in Akron and around Akron. So they'll be trying to chat my location because guess what, honeyboo? As a houseless person, I be living in Akron, in Streetsboro, in Kent, in Stowe. I live around wherever I can get it. And guess what? I'm also working with Build Hammer City, the Black Hammer organization, to house all Black and other colonized people of color on Turtle Island, a.k.a. this is Turtle Island, a.k.a. this colony, this illegal occupation of colonized Turtle Island. Oof. Anyway, I'm calling because I'm calling to support. Y'all need to, excuse me, schedule regular trash pickup and recycling pickup for these homeless encampments. Y'all need to do that. These houses people need to have trash pickup. They need to have recycling pickup. And it's Earth Month, so get on it. Also, children have the right to know who their biological parents are at any age. So these adoption agencies withholding information and blah, blah, blah. Literally, by y'all lowering Akron's municipal voting age to 12, that would be the best way to begin to respect to respect the suffrage that everyone has a right to, and to begin to eliminate barriers to suffrage. Akron, Ken, Streetsboro, but since y'all the Akron City Council, I'm going to address y'all specifically. Akron needs to lower its municipal voting age to 12. I could calmly request that y'all lower the Akron municipal voting age to 16, but other cities have already done that with voting. So again, I am polyamorous Mariah. I am a houseless person advocating for Build Hammer City, and y'all are welcome to donate some funds to that. We have raised about $65,000.
Hello, my name is Elise Sabo. I live in Kent, Ohio, and I've been working with the Serve the People Akron mutual aid group recently. And we've been doing some cleanups around encampments where some of our houseless friends are living. And we're hoping that the city would consider having sanitation services there, like porta potties and different, dumpsters, because our friends want to live in clean spaces, and that would go a long way in helping them keep those spaces clean and keep the parks and such looking nice. Additionally, I know that there are a bunch of evictions happening in the city. I have a number that there's 100 evictions per week and rising. I'd like the city to impose an eviction moratorium. Rent's gone up 53% since 2000, while the median income has only risen 29%. And we don't, it's hard living out on the streets, and we don't want any more people that have to living out there. Please do everything you can to help our homeless friends and let them live in safety. Thank you.
Happy Easter season, everyone. For 2021, I'm Bill Nesbitt at 330-379-2235 and 1155 Diagonal Road. As always, great Thanksgiving, great service. Let's add to that, though. Let's have that drop-off box of mail at our original High Street location for the aid of our citizen tree. And let's reestablish our headquarters there for all. Once again, all have this great 2021 spring Easter season.
Okay. That concludes our public comments for this evening. I want to thank all those who have participated. Again, all these comments have been forwarded to the appropriate departments and to also the appropriate council person. So just encouraging all council members to please follow up on these comments received. At this time, we will go over our committee assignments, rules. Councilman Freeman.
2 p.m.
Public Safety, Councilman Kamer.
2:15.
Budget and Finance, Councilman Freeman.
3 p.m.
Parks and Rec, Councilman Neal.
12:45.
Planning and Economic Development, Councilman Fusco.
1.
Housing and Neighborhood Assistance, Councilman Fusco.
3:15.
Public Service, Councilwoman Samples.
2 p.m.
Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian.
2:30.
Public Utilities and Green Committee, Councilman Freeman.
2:45.
And I do see there's some other things coming before council. I do see Councilwoman Samples' hand.
Thank you, Madam President. A few things. I have put in a request with Mr. Little about the bulk trash pickup. So that was handled this morning, mid-afternoon. So it's a lot. I sent him the picture, so I don't want our residents to we're ignoring trash bulk pickup. We just got it this morning. So I'm going to give Mr. Little time enough to handle it. Secondly, the mom who called in about the young man, I'm very concerned about that. I do have some questions for Interim Chief Capers while he's on call online with us. I'm just thinking about this charter section 142 that we just passed as we talk about the releasing of body worn camera footage, which was passed this past election cycle. And we have a mom saying that her son was beaten to a pulp. Last week is the first I've ever heard of it, and I usually get inboxes and emails all over from people. I'm concerned about that because I've not seen any footage sent to us as council about that. It's very disturbing what she's alleging. Number two, in the midst of her saying that, I get an alert on my phone that one of our officers has resigned, Officer Tuner. So I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. I would like for Chief Capers to give us as much information on that as he can. I'm more concerned because this is an officer who was involved with some other infractions over the years, and now he's resigned, alleging that he used some tactics on the individual and it wasn't reported. I'm concerned because we passed legislation, changed our charter as it relates to body worn camera footage, and we're talking about incidents that we know nothing about. I think as a council, we should know about them because it gives us an opportunity to have those conversations with our residents instead of thinking that we're all just sitting on our hands doing and saying nothing at all. I think it gives us an opportunity to be able to be transparent. And that's what the legislation talks about, is the transparency. I'm concerned. So Chief Capers, if you could give us some insight on this, I'd appreciate it because, we live in a different time right now, and all we hear about is all the homicides in the city of Akron. But now we've got some issues with our officers is not being brought to us. So if you could address that, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, I took a note about, is it Ms. Williams' call? I'm hoping to get some additional information so that we might be able to contact her. Does anybody able to share that information?
Major Capers, we can make sure that you get her contact information.
Great. We look into every complaint, and of course we will to this one, and attempt to gather the facts about what did or did not occur in that particular instance. And when we do, we can make that available to you all. Regarding press release that we put out about our officer today, what we shared is what we're able to share at this moment. And we do have an ongoing internal investigation. And once that is completed, we will be able to share additional information. And my understanding with regard to the legislation was that will take effect in June of this year, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct, Major Capers. Thank you so much. Councilman Neal.
Thank you, Madam President. Just want to address the concerns that our constituents raised on how we can provide better service to our constituents. They made some good points when they spoke about issues that have been brought before us that they're still waiting for some resolution on. So, it goes back to the one point I wanted to make. It's not about just reimagining public safety. It's about reimagining how we govern holistically. And I think we owe it to our constituents, since this is a public forum, these questions are raised publicly, to at least provide some type of update, track record. I don't think it'll just do our citizens good. It'll do us as council and all throughout the city departments well to find out how are we responding to these issues. So I'd like to suggest that we have I know I put in a request for to get an update on the on-base that gives us a way to track our legislation before it gets here, and all the comments that are coming, still waiting on that update. But then we put something in place where we could track our response to these requests that come before us during the public comment period. We can list who they go to, what department, and we can see how long it takes us to answer them. Because I tell you folks, if we were a business where we had competition, real competition, like a business, we would have to respond like that or we'd be out of business. We couldn't just ignore customers coming before us and sharing their concerns. We would be out of business. It taking 4 years to answer a complaint, 3 years to answer a complaint, 2 months to answer a complaint, none of us would survive in a business world. We have to have the same type of empathy and concern that we would want. So I'd like for us to, and I think it would do well for, just as we let the public see us engage our police officers, as we look for new ways to improve our policing, let them see us sit and find better ways for us to address their concerns and put new systems in place to address the systemic things that exist that make it to where it takes us as long as it takes us to respond to our constituents. And so this is not casting blame, but we cannot deny that there's something dysfunctional in the way we address their concerns. So this is a beautiful opportunity for us to take the same medicine that we used with our police department and put in good systems for better governance and responding to our constituents' concerns and complaints.
Thank you so much, Councilman Neal. I do want to let you know, council office does put forth a lot of time making sure that all public comments are directed to the appropriate departments and to the appropriate council people. That's why I make that announcement afterwards, making sure and encouraging all council members to follow up on these public comments. Council office does not take all the time to document and to make sure that this information goes to you for you not to follow up. So council office is doing that. And so we just need you to do your part. Thank you so much. Councilman Malik.
Thank you, Madam President. Just briefly, there was a comment about the Merriman Valley and the Tice Road property. The Cuyahoga Falls City Council, when they passed their ordinance approving the contract with the planning firm that we've hired, had a presentation from that firm and talking about all the work that they hope to do. Since we're going in 50-50 with them on this project, I really think that that's something where we would benefit from hearing that similar presentation. So I hope that's something that we can do in the coming weeks, is hear from that planning firm about the Merriman Valley master plan, because I think, we could use everyone's input. And then secondly, as Councilwoman Samples mentioned, it was sad to see that press release about the officer and, apparently, a use of force that's being investigated. I really appreciate the statement from the acting chief about accountability and transparency and the importance of that. I think that, in situations like this, when citizens are going to see, a headline about an officer resigning, I think that, hopefully as soon as that investigation is completed, we're all able to see that body camera footage, because obviously community trust is so critical, and we've had many conversations about that. But I do appreciate your fairness here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilman Malik. Is there anything else coming before council at this time from someone who has not had an opportunity to share?
Motion to excuse Councilman Lombardo.
Okay, so we do have a motion on the floor to excuse Councilman Lombardo. Can we get a second? Councilwoman Baylor?
Second.
Thank you so much. Councilman Neal, I see your hand.
Yes, Madam President, thank you. I just wanted to state my comments were not, I understand that the clerk and that we have systems in place, but our systems can be improved. Our constituents are letting us know. It'll help all of us be more effective. And I'm just saying, just like our police department, we reimagined public safety. We scrutinized, we looked at every department, how they were functioning. We let them know it wasn't that we were saying that they weren't doing, putting forth their best effort, but we knew that it could be improved because we see what was happening out on the street. We see what's happening with the way we govern. Our constituents are letting us know. So this is not to cast blame. We are all in this together, but we cannot say that we cannot improve on the way we address our citizens' concerns. I'll go back to, I'm hoping that we can go back to see why it took us 4 years to address the tow truck legislation.
Thank you, Councilman.
It's not to cast blame, but we can't just kick the can down the road. If we could do it with our police department, we could do it amongst ourselves.
Thank you, Councilman Neal. Is there anything else coming before council at this time?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. If there are no objections, meeting adjourned.
This concludes the live broadcast of Akron City Council. Margot